The aftermath of Season 3's traitorous finale finds Tariq St. Patrick outmatched and outgunned. After finding himself bested by those he placed trust in, his and his family's lives threatened, Season 4's Tariq is determined to never allow that to happen again. His plan is to crush everyone who went against him because the best way to stay safe in the game is to run the game. It's not enough to kill his enemies, he's going to make them wish he had, granting them a fate worse than death. Where we've seen Tariq dream of being free from the game last season, we now see Tariq determined to sit at the top of the pyramid. Because the only way to stay on top is to cripple anyone else's chances of climbing up from the bottom. After escaping death with the help from Brayden, the two begin to plot to kidnap Nomer's daughter Anya. As they kill Nomer's henchman, they are too late to kidnap her. Drew and Diana kidnap Becca and calls Brayden to come to P90 with Tariq or he will kill her. Diana leaves to visit Monet in the hospital, who is still in a coma. Tariq begs Brayden to think it through and believes it's a trap, but Brayden ignores him anyway to save Becca. Tariq calls Davis, who tell him that Noma, Effie, and the Tejadas are all against him, but finds out Davis may get disbarred. As he races to save Brayden and Becca, he crashes into Drew in a pickup truck and shoots at him, who reveals he knows about Drew and Diana's plot to get rid of Monet. After Brayden is disowned by his family, Tariq and Brayden vow to stick with each other and kill their enemies, but with a $100K bounty each on their head, they head to Stansfield to retrieve money in order to leave town. Tariq receives a text from Effie that Kane is there to kill him and Brayden, with there being others on campus. So both of them escape to the school campus parking lot, where they bumped into Agent Junior Valdez, who questions Tariq about the green cards he and Tate got for Obi, and he reveals himself as Star's crime drama power was rife to expand into a franchise with how popular the series was, so it wasn't a surprise when the network ordered multiple spin-offs. But it's Power Book 4, Force, that feels like the truest continuation, because it's the first spin-off that pops off the screen like the original show, and because Joseph Sikora's protagonist Tommy Egan feels even more like a runaway freight train. Power didn't glamorize the drug world, it was an urban tragedy that had to end with the death of its hero James "Ghost" St. Patrick. The show also did a pretty good job of screwing over Tommy. By the series finale, his best friend Ghost and his fiancée Lakeisha Grant had died, his associates in the drug game betrayed him worse than Fez in Euphoria, and his own mother turned on him. His flashback appearance in Power Book 2, Ghost, made things worse, adding that Ghost's widow Tasha framed Tommy for her husband's murder. If anyone had unfinished business and a reason to keep going, it was Tommy, plus, Joseph Sikora's incredible talent was perfect to build another show around. A spin-off about a protagonist returning to their hometown isn't new, even the Cleveland show did it, but it's the way Sikora plays it that makes Power Book 4, Force the follow-up fans deserve. Tommy has always been a live wire, even in his most quiet or vulnerable moments is never quite still. It makes complete sense that he'd take the heavy blows he suffered in Power and use them as fuel to not only start over, but make his own empire where he wouldn't have to rely on anyone or care about losing anyone. Force also gave him a substantive reason to stay in Chicago by revealing his grandmother was still alive and he had an ignored half-brother. This show is Tommy Egan's reckoning, and the fact that Sikora is also a Chicago native adds a neat extra quirk to it. Viewers are now several episodes into the season, and Tommy's battles have fleshed out the character in ways that Power never could. In the original series, though Tommy and Ghost were partners and even operated independently at times, they were always inexorably connected. Power Book 4, Force has made Tommy clearly number one, with all the positives and negatives that entails. The subtle psychological shift of being professionally beholden to no one else has given him an extra edge. There's also no one to check him and he faces the full consequences of his mistakes. One aspect of Power Book 4, Force that's particularly intriguing is its exploration of Tommy's newfound family, his half-brother J.P. Gibbs, Anthony Fleming III, and nephew D-Mac, Lucien Cambric. Though D-Mac being J.P.'s son isn't public knowledge yet, it's bound to come out eventually, and J.P. has already told Tommy that he's in a financial bind. Ghost's family was completely caught up in the game, even his true love Angela was a U.S. attorney. JP is trying to stay on the straight and narrow as is Gloria, and D-Mac's not totally in yet. Tommy can have a side of his life that has nothing to do with drugs, giving himself a balance and saving himself from making the mistakes Ghost made by being unable to keep things separated.
Starz has released a new trailer for Power Book 2, Ghost Season 4 Part 2 alongside some first-look photos that tease a final showdown. The newly released trailer sets the stakes high for emotional final episodes, emphasizing that no one is safe. Part 2 of the final season will premiere on Starz at 8 p.m. in the US on Friday, September 6. Episodes will be available to stream on the Starz app from midnight. In the first half of Power Book 2, Ghost Season 4, unanswered high-stakes questions were uncovered and Tariq learned he is the father of Diana's baby. Part 2 will showcase the adage, like father, like son. Tariq finds himself in an eerily similar situation, just like his late father, Ghost, stuck between a rock and a hard place, with the choice to leave the game or take over, reads the official synopsis for Part 2. Entrapped by Detective Carter, the Tejada family realizes their safety is not guaranteed. Monet fiercely fights for her family to become whole again, but is it too late? Noma is working her way to the top of the food chain. Meanwhile, her daughter, Anya, gets too close to the game, forcing Noma to think twice about her actions.